we moved back to the farm I always get my years mixed up. We moved here in '04. We started farming ourselves in '05. And we both come from farm backgrounds. We had rented this land out to some other people for quite a few years. And then I was involved with a large operation in central Indiana. And at the time we thought, let's get back here, let's do some things for ourselves and see what we can do. So that brought us to here. And we're very small. This is a 180-acre farm. We traditionally raise corn and beans. We've experimented with different things. We've failed with different things. But what we're on to now seems to be working. And this is our second year of agritourism farm with a corn maze. We give wagon rides. We have different events that are scheduled out here throughout the year, mainly in the fall. My wife, I can let her talk a little bit about what she's doing with the school tours. We're still developing a lot of things because we are pretty new. So, you want to talk about yours?
Sure. I have a teaching background. I taught for 5 years, and then after the birth of our second son, decided to stay at home full time. I taught kindergarten, and I love to just watch the excitement that kids have about learning. And when we started the business last year, we decided that we weren't going to press the school tour issue, because if we were going to do it, I wanted to do it right. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to teaching, and I didn't want to do a half job. I wanted to be able to do the best I can. But it started out actually by my son's preschool saying, hey, you're right down the road. Can you guys maybe do a school tour for us, and we can come pick some pumpkins? And kind of blossomed from there. And last year, without advertising, just word of mouth, I think we had 3 different preschools and 2 different private schools and a homeschool group come for school tours. And during the school tours, basically, they're here for about an hour and a half long. And last year, the way I ran it was, most of my groups were preschool groups, so I read them a story called Pumpkin Pumpkin by Gene Tetherington. And it's a very cute story about a little boy who plants a pumpkin seed and watches it grow through all the phases. And so I read the story, and then I had a storytelling apron that had all the pieces of how a pumpkin grows. So I had a pumpkin on the front of my apron, and I would pull out one piece at a time and start by talking about the seed, that you had to plant the seed and the things that the seed needed. So we talked about the life cycle of the pumpkin, how it grows. Also, while they're here, they get to look at our animals, who at the moment are a little rambunctious. We only have steers, but we rent some animals from some people just south of us. They have some exotic animals, and then they have donkeys, miniature horses, that type of thing. And we figured, that's a lot easier for us. Pay a small fee, get them for 6 weeks, feed them. That's all we have to do. So that works quite well for us. The favorite farm animal, however, are the cats. So whenever kids come, they love playing with the cats. Also, as part of our tour, they get to pick a pumpkin. They get to take a small pumpkin home with them. They get to go through the corn maze, and they don't really do the scavenger hunt that we have set up in the maze because it's a little advanced for them, but they just kind of walk through, and they think it's pretty cool. And then we also, you'll see as we go out farther, we have what we call our straw mountain, just a big mound of straw that they just love to climb up, jump off of, be very bold and courageous off of. And this year, we've done a little more advertising in school tours. And I'm actually kind of nervous because the school that I taught for, they're bringing their first grade, 110 first graders on one day. And it's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. I'm excited about it. And we also have several other groups scheduled, like youth groups, that type of thing.
It seems like every year we are gaining some momentum, and it's going really well. But we struggled for a while because we kept focusing, just thinking that farming more acres was the key to us surviving and really making this something other than a really tiring second job. And we're in an area that's, most of the farm ground around us is rented by, as is everywhere, large farmers, and it's hard to be competitive for us. The farm that adjoins one of our 20s just across the road here, about 3 weeks ago, sold for $7,200 an acre of bare farm ground with no buildings. And there's just no way to compete with that. So we just kind of developed using what we already had, and largely was this barn, which is has been in our family for close to 130 years, and it was here before then. So we've done a lot of remodeling to the barn. We tried to use things that we already had. We already have hay wagons for rides. We already had a great big yard out here that turns into a parking lot. We already had the experience of Marah's ability to teach, and just old tractors, and just the ability to do something out of the ordinary. So it's been fun. I think every year we'll get a little better. There's a lot of corn mazes and facilities that are nicer and bigger and more elaborate. We just tried to really grow slow and grow into it to make sure we knew what we were doing, see if we could handle it. So.
And also with our planning too, we kind of thought about us as a family. Like, family time is very important to us, and we wanted to plan an experience that was around the family. And we feel like we cater to a lot of different age groups, not just teenagers, not just older people, not just little kids. We feel like we can fit the whole family experience in there, and that was important to us too. And also we feel like we're pretty affordable right now in terms of pricing, and people could come out and enjoy a day and not spend an arm and a leg.
I think what I've learned the most over the last year was how much our non-farming friends appreciated the real simple things that we often took for granted. Like, our straw pile is not very big, and I'm used to growing up in a hay mow bigger than that, just stacked full and tunnels everywhere, and that's normal to me. But for a lot of these kids, they would literally spend hours just climbing on straw